is holy and reigns with splendor. Our God, Yahweh, sovereign King, He's full of wonder. Our God, Yahweh, hey, Yahweh, Yahweh, be praised. Yahweh, 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 be praised. What do you do? You what? Oh, you're going to be okay. Film student. You're studying it? Yeah, that's one thing. You have to go to class to be a film student. So just, if that's your dream, you got a vision board? Is it on your vision board? Okay, cool. Put it on your vision board. Work like a dog. No, really, and ask God for some help. That's the way you make it in life. If you don't have vision boards, let me explain something to you. Let me explain something. People do not understand this. If you do not have it written down, your chances of it happening is reduced drastically because it's a principle of success. You have to have everything you want written. It's in the Bible. Now, you ain't got to be the greatest Christian in the world. You still got to get some of these scriptures and apply them. Habakkuk 2:2. It says, write the vision and make it plain, so that he who reads it will run to it. And even though it tarry, that means take a long time, wait for it, for surely it will come at an appointed time. That's in the Bible. Listen to me. That's real. If you don't think it's real, I dare you to try it. Write everything you want on a piece of paper. Everything. I don't care. Use your wildest imagination. If you can think it, you can achieve it. Write it on a piece of paper. Read it every morning and every night. Come back here 1 year from today and see how much of that stuff then came true. That's a promise of your God. That ain't no theory I come up with. That's all successful people have it. Oprah's on TV for 30 years telling people about vision board. It's very real. Yeah. You have to write it. If it's not written, you reduce your chances greatly of it ever occurring. Everything I've ever gotten in life, I've written. My vision board is crazy. You wouldn't even believe I'm not even in the need business anymore. I'm in the want business. I don't need nothing. Got houses, cars, success, career, family, kids. What's on my vision board now is astronomical. And guess what? I'm gonna get all of it. I'm gonna get all of it. You should try that. You should try it.
Today we're talking all about our joints. Some of us never even think about them, and the rest of us, yes, we know when they're achy. Well, one of the best ways to keep our joints healthy is by making proper food choices. So today I am joined by registered dietitian and chef Eric Stein. Hi.
How are you today?
I'm great, and I'm really interested in keeping my joints healthy because sometimes I certainly do feel my knees when I'm walking up and down the stairs. Why is food related to joint health?
So, particularly for your joints, there's certain fruits and vegetables that can help with joint health, help with anti-inflammatory effects, also help keep them lubricated. And so that's why we want to choose the right foods for joint health.
So we want to make sure we're eating lots and lots of fruits and vegetables. Give us some specifics. I see we've got carrots, we've got radishes.
Yeah, so really one thing dietitians love to say is eat the rainbow every day. Things like green leafy vegetables are going to have a lot of vitamin C in them. We have carrots, our citrus here, more vitamin C. You can see a trend here, vitamin C. And then avocados, I think I mentioned the vitamin E that are in avocados are also going to be a good source of healthy fats.
Now I see apples on the table, and I always say an apple a day keeps the doctor away. I eat an apple a day. Why is it on our food choices here for healthy joints?
Well, apples in general, green apples and red apples are going to just again be a powerhouse of vitamins and minerals. These Granny Smith apples are going to go into our recipe later, more for texture and for flavor.
Talk a little bit about the proteins that we can eat.
So fatty fish are going to be really your number one as far as an animal protein goes. Things like salmon, tuna, halibut. If we talk about vegetarian proteins, you have things like quinoa and beans.
We also talked about how some spices can help your joints.
So ginger that we have here, the turmeric we're gonna put on our recipe. There's just other certain foods that are really great for anti-inflammatory. So the anti-inflammatory foods are gonna really help lubricate your joints, so it helps blood flow.
You're going to show us how to cook with the rainbow.
I am.
And what are we going to be making?
So we're making a winter slaw. So let's start with making the dressing. I'm gonna put a little bit of curry powder in here. We have that turmeric in there, which is anti-inflammatory.
Right,
so really nice. I'm gonna mix that with the olive oil first, just to get that all flavored up. And so we're kind of making like a curry oil. So here, you wanna sprinkle salt in there, some sous chef, just a little pinch.
Like that. Let it rain.
We're gonna put orange juice, like we mentioned, that vitamin C. So that's gonna be our dressing for our salad.
I want to smell that while we're doing it.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay,
Right.
what's next?
So red and green cabbage, just so, again, we're talking about eating the rainbow every day. We want to get some nice colors on there. So the radishes, I did the same thing. The benefit from a health standpoint, again, it's a low-calorie, watery food. We'll put shredded carrot, and then I'm actually going to grab an apple. And so we're good here. We have our slaw started, and then we're going to add a little bit of the dressing. So if you just want to pour maybe a third of that into here. The last thing we're going to put in here is a little bit of fresh ginger. And then if you want to just sprinkle in, we have some dried cherries and some walnut.
Ooh, look at that.
Delicious and nutritious.
For your joints. This is my favorite part.
Yeah?
I want to taste it just to verify that it is going to be delicious. If it's going to be helping me, I want to make sure I'm eating it and enjoying it.
All right, let's go for it.
Okay, here you go.
You have 2 forks.
There you go.
You first.
Okay.
You can hear the crunch right as soon as you stick your fork
the
in
crunch.
there. Yeah.
Look at that. Apples, good crunch. Walnut, delicious.
You get that turmeric and the ginger.
Well, here's to your joint health.
Perfect, thanks
here's
so much.
Here's to your joint health. Today, we're eating for our joints. I'm going back in for more.
Capitol Hill riots, impeachment, and big tech censorship. Is this the new norm for American politics? How can Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and other government leaders bring about national unity? Well, our next guest says we're living in what he calls a Father Kolakovic moment. Here to explain and provide some insights is American's conservative senior editor, Rod Dreher. His latest book is Live Not by Lies, a manual for a Christian dissidents. Rod, please explain this Father Kolakovic moment. I know you mentioned it in your book. What is it? Why do you think it's happening here in America?
Right. Well, Father Tomislav Kolakovic was a Croatian priest in the 1940s doing anti-Nazi underground work in Zagreb. He got a tip that the Gestapo was coming for him, so he escaped the country and went and hid out in neighboring Slovakia, his mother's homeland. When he arrived there in 1943, he began to teach at the Catholic University. He told his students, the good news is the Germans are going to lose this war. The bad news is the communists are going to be ruling this country when the war is over. The first thing they're going to do is come after the church. We have got to be ready for it. So what Father Kolakovic did was prepare prayer groups of students who would come together to pray, to study scripture, but also to study the signs of the times and to figure out how to prepare for coming persecution. Father Kolakovic's prayer groups spread throughout the country very quickly. Every town of any size had one. Now, his bishops told him, Father, you're being alarmist, you're scaring people, it will never happen. But Father Kolakovic knew the communist mindset, and he knew what was going to happen when they took power. Sure enough, Gary, as soon as the Iron Curtain came down in that country, the communists came after the church with a stern, horrible persecution. The groups that Father Kolakovic set up were the backbone of the underground church for the next 40 years. I firmly believe that we're in a similar moment here in America now. Christians of all kinds, Catholic, Protestant, Orthodox, have got to take advantage of this moment of liberty we have to get our networks in place to prepare for persecution.
Yes, a good friend of mine actually was in Prague, is from Prague, and was there in 1968 as a child when those tanks moved in. So big tech free speech. Is this just a momentary blip on the radar screen, Rod, or do you expect this will get worse?
Oh, no, this is definitely going to get worse. In my book, Live Not by Lies, I talk about this as the beginning of soft totalitarianism. Soft totalitarianism because it's not going to have gulags and secret police, the things that the Soviets had. Rather, this is something that's going to be done mostly by big tech, limiting access to the economy and keeping it so that only those who conform with what the regime wants can participate in the economy. We're already seeing it happen now in China with the social credit system there, which only lets people who conform to what the government wants have full access to the economy and travel, good jobs, universities, etc. I think we are going to see an informal version of that happen right here in America, and the hammer is going to come down on conservatives and traditional Christians.
So what do you think will happen in the days ahead with the Joe Biden presidency? Now, you mentioned soft totalitarianism. Are we advancing down that road under Joe? What do you expect?
Yeah, we absolutely are. Joe Biden has already talked about how he's going to pass domestic terrorism legislation. We're going to see people designated as terrorists, people who have no interest in terrorism at all, who do not support violence, but who simply question the way things are done in this country, and they do so from the right. I believe that Christians, conservative Christians, are going to be targeted too, and there will be no discrimination between us peaceful conservative Christians and those who want violence. But here's an important point too, Gary. It's not simply going to come from the government, and may not mostly come from the government. It's going to come from big business and big tech, who will be using their freedom in our free market society to marginalize and oppress deplorables, which include political conservatives and religious conservatives.
Well, we've even seen some of that already with the COVID-19 pandemic. If you are against wearing a mask, you become ostracized on by big tech. They'll even shut you down. So how does the pandemic play into all of this?
Well, what the pandemic has done, and I should say that I believe the pandemic is real, but what the pandemic has done is accustomed us to being controlled. It has put us in a position and a mindset of fear and control, and where we can be open to being told what to do by the government. And I think that this has been a dry run, if you will, for greater control. And I think that insofar as Christians have not used this pandemic time, to prepare ourselves for the long run, for what it would mean to be faithful under a long period of oppression, then we have wasted our time. There's no more time to waste.
Well, more on that then, Rod, as we wrap this up. Then how should conservatives and Christians, Catholics, evangelicals in this country respond to all this? What do we need to do?
Well, I think the first thing we need to do is root ourselves as firmly as possible in our faith and in community. I was talking last night to an ex-military intelligence man, a Christian, who said that no Christian should believe that anything we say online or electronically mediated is safe. It will be stored somewhere. It sounds paranoid, but it's not paranoid. This is in my book, Live Not by Lies. What we have to do most of all, though, is prepare to suffer. We in the American church know nothing about suffering. We've had it good for a long time. The people who grew up under communism, I talk to in my book, Live Not by Lies, they know what it's like to suffer for the faith. We have to start learning from their experience and be prepared to be steadfast and to suffer without hating our enemy.
Yours is the kingdom, yours is the power, our God.